Hello, I'm Tom and I'm the creator of Stenote. I'm just going to give you a quick run through of some of the key features to help you get the most out of the app. If you're listening to this at the moment within Stenote, within the app, if you hit the little video camera icon in the top right, you'll be able to follow along. And if you don't want to watch the entire video, if you look below, you can tap the chapters tab and it'll break this video down into the important sections so you can skip ahead if you choose to. First of all, after you've downloaded the app from Stenote AI or the Play Store or the Apple Store, you're going to be presented with this screen. I'm just going to run through some of the features on this screen. So you'll notice we've got a big green record button in the centre. I'm going to come to that in a second. In the top right, you'll see we have this little upload icon. If I tap that, from here, you can select a file from your device, maybe an MP3 file that somebody sent you, or a podcast, or an audio file that you've recorded earlier. If you hit the YouTube tab, in there you can paste a link to a YouTube video, and that'll transcribe and run the AI analysis on the YouTube video. If I close that, in the top left, you'll see the number of minutes you have remaining. If you tap that, in there you can purchase more minutes. You can either subscribe for the cheapest option, or if you don't want to commit to a monthly payment, you can just buy minutes as you need them in blocks of 250, 1000 or 5000. Next, if I tap the library in the bottom, on the bottom tab, this is where all your recordings are going to appear. I'm going to go through this in a bit more detail in a second. If you tap the account tab on the bottom right, you're going to have some different options in here. You can switch the default language. Right now, I think we support 12 or 14 languages at the point of recording this, and I'm adding new languages pretty much every week. If there's a particular language that's missing, please just drop me an email and I'll make sure that gets added as soon as possible. We've got the custom vocabulary here. If there's any unique sort of technical terms or brand names or people's names that you find that the transcriber is struggling to recognise, you can add them in here to give them a bit of a boost and sort of self-train it on words that you use regularly. If you're like me and you live your life and manage your life in something like Notion, you can connect to your Notion workspace, and every time you make a recording or upload a recording, it's going to sync all the transcription and the summaries and chapters and all the data to your Notion workspace. And you can do the same for Evernote as well. And then below that, we've got lots of different ways to contact me. So I'm on the west coast of the US. If you hit live support, if I'm not asleep, then I will try and respond immediately and help you out. You can also report a bug or request a new feature through a form on there. We've also got a Discord server. If you drop a little message saying hello into the Discord server, I'll give you some free minutes. You can also email me or manage your subscription as well from there. I'm going to flip back to the record screen. If I hit the big green record button, it's going to start recording. And it's now using the microphone on the device to listen for speech. And we can see the little waveform at the top to indicate that it's capturing some audio. If I press the little CC icon there, that's going to enable subtitling or captions. So it's going to transcribe what is being said in real time. So if you're maybe a little hard of hearing, or you just struggle to keep up with conversations, maybe you're in a loud environment, or there's a lot of people talking, this is really helpful and you can see it in real time. Now, if I hit stop recording on here, down at the bottom, we're going to process that audio file and just do some finalising checks on it to make sure it's not corrupted. And then we're going to send it off to be transcribed. You'll see that was successfully submitted. And then it takes us to our library and you can see the status of that current recording. So it quickly transcribed it. Now it's running the AI analysis on it. And in a second, we'll be able to click through and see all our data that was generated. Depending on the length of the recording, this could take a couple of minutes. The great thing about Stenote is it can cope with very, very long pieces of audio. So if you're in a 4, 5, 6 hour conference, or you like listening to Lex Friedman podcasts, which are notoriously long, at 2 or 3 hours long, it will have no problem transcribing and analysing long recordings. Okay, you'll see we now have that. It's given it its own AI-generated title, real-time audio transcription and captioning features. So that's what we were just talking about. For this example, I'm going to jump into this Introduction to JavaScript for Beginners. So this is a YouTube video I uploaded earlier. Once you tap into a recording in your library, you're going to be presented with this summary screen. It's going to give you the overall sentiment of what was talked about. What does that mean? So it's going to assess whether the conversation or presentation was negative, neutral, or a positive interaction. So this is really useful if you do sales calls regularly, or maybe you work in HR and do exit interviews with ex-employees and that sort of stuff. You can look at this and sort of get a third-party analysis on whether the interaction was a positive one or a negative one. It can be quite useful. We're just going to skip down a little bit. So you'll see it gives us a nice overall summary of the entire conversation. And then if we skip down to the deep dive, this is going to give you more context about what was talked about. So it's going to give you a deep dive into the subject matter that was discussed to give you more background and context. So there's lots of information in there. One thing I will say is the more audio or the more speech that you put into it, the better the results are going to be. So you'll see it did just work with that little 15-20 second clip I recorded, and it did a fine job with that. But if you put something in that's, sort of 10, 20, 30 minutes or longer, you're going to get the best results from it. So it's great for lectures, meetings, maybe an appointment with your doctor or your lawyer, that sort of stuff. It's going to do good there. Okay, next thing on this screen, we have the AI assistant. If you tap that, this is going to open a little chatbot similar to ChatGPT, but it's trained on this particular conversation that we've saved. So you can ask questions of the discussion. Maybe you want a bulleted list of all the different technologies that we used in this JavaScript course. Or maybe you'd like to initiate a quiz to ask you some questions and test you on what was discussed. Well, you can input that in there as if you were using ChatGPT. Just ask the question and it'll reply back with you. Okay, I'm going to close that. Then I'm just going to tap the downloads. You'll see we've got a downloads icon there in blue, and also in the top right, you've got a download icon there. If I tap that, from here we can get a PDF file of everything. When it says complete, that means it's going to include the summary that you see here, the chapters, which I'll come to in a moment, the notes, and the full transcript as well. If you just want the transcript only, you can also download that as a PDF or a text file. If you want to import this into another piece of software, or maybe you want to use the captions and the transcripts to generate your subtitles, you can download it as an SRT file or a VTT file. These are interchangeable formats for importing subtitles into videos and things like that. And you can also import it as JSON, which is a sort of structured data form that you can import into Excel or whatever application you might want to use. And from here, you can also manually send it to Notion as well, or Evernote. Okay, I'm going to close that, and then I'm going to tap on the Analysis tab. Okay, the Analysis tab, this is going to take out key statements from the conversation, and it's going to assess the complexity of the language and sort of the emotion and tension in the language, and give you an idea of whether this is a credible statement that's being said or whether it's something you need to look into a little bit more. It's not a lie detector, but it gives you a good analysis and key pointers on whether something that is being said may need further investigation. So it's quite useful. Next, we've got the chapters tab. So just like YouTube, these are smart chapters. It's going to break the audio into sections covering the key parts, so you can skip ahead and listen to whatever section you want to listen to. If I hit play on that, you'll see it takes us to that particular chapter. And also, just quickly down the bottom, you have the mini player or the expanded player, where you can seek and skip ahead, just like any sort of podcast app that you might have used. Now, if I tap the Notes tab, this is going to give us a list of key takeaways and your sort of standard list of notes that you'd be making if you were going to write these down as you were listening. And then the transcript tab is, as you'd expect, this is a timed transcript identifying who was speaking and the timestamps. So if I want to scroll down and I want to listen to this section, it's going to play the audio from that section. And you'll also see, as it plays, it skips through the transcripts. And you can copy the entire transcript to your clipboard from here, or just copy certain sections of it. And again, if you wanted to download the whole thing, hit the download button and it will give you a PDF or a text file. You can also do a keyword search as well to highlight particular keywords that you might be looking for within the transcript. Now, the metadata tab, this is just going to give you various information about the recording. If this was a file that you'd have uploaded, you can see the location of the local file here, and it's going to give you the history of the recording and what actions were taken. It can be quite useful if you find that a particular file failed, or there was an issue with it, or you need to download the original file and share it, whatever, you can do that from here. And because this was a YouTube video, you'll see in the top right we have the little camera icon just there. I'm going to tap that and you'll see this gives us the entire video, so we can watch and listen to the video and follow the transcript along as well. Okay, so there we go. That's the quick overview of the recording features. As I mentioned earlier, you can send your recordings to Stenote if you set it up to auto sync by going in here, tap Notion. You'll see there's the little auto sync toggle there. Each time you create a recording, it's going to put it in your Notion workspace with the whole summary and the title and all the notes and the full transcript as well. Okay, I think that covers it for the moment. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. Just drop me an email or hit the live support and we can have a chat. If there's particular features that you think are missing, or there's an app that you'd like to see Stenote integrated with, you just let me know. I'd love to have a discussion with you. And if you do enjoy the app, the biggest thing you could do for me is write a review on the App Store. It's just great for the algorithm. The more people who leave a written review, the more Apple and Google are going to promote my app and other people will see it and it'll get bigger. So if you could do that, that would be much appreciated. Also, one last thing just before I go, I'm just going to touch on this upload manager you see on the screen here. If you have a bit of a sketchy internet connection, or maybe you're out and about and offline, or there's a problem uploading some of the data, you'll see any failed uploads in here, so you can go retry them. So maybe you make a recording while you're out and about and you don't have any Wi-Fi, and then you get back on the internet and you want to re-upload the data to process it. You can do that from here, and it's also going to show you the local MP3 file as well for you to download and retrieve, so you can never lose a recording. Okay, thanks again, thanks for watching, and see you soon.